All right. So right off the bat, I'm a little bummed, not gonna lie. We uploaded or we reacted to episode 6 of Zom 100, uploaded the edited the video. It was our first editing job. I was so proud. I was so careful. I was like, I think it came out pretty good. Yeah. Uploaded it to YouTube. The whole episode reaction got cut. It was just basically like my intro and then my essentially a review of the episode, which I guess is something, but it just kind of sucks to do all that editing work and just have it like snapped out of existence, you know? But instead of wasting time trying to like edit it over and over and see which one sticks. I'm gonna try like different methods. I also reacted to Masamune-kun season 2 because I love season 1 like way back when it first came out. And with that one, I tried reacting with no picture, no video. See if that does it. This one I'm gonna do with picture but no audio. So it's just gonna be like me uh just pretty much just watching and reacting. Hopefully one of those, hopefully both of those stick, and that'll be the formats that we use moving forward. But for now, we can only cross our fingers. Right now, we're going to be starting Zom 100 Episode 7, Bucket List of the Dead, Truck Stop of the Dead. Last episode, we saw that um, the gang got pretty much taken prisoner by the old boss and by Akira's old boss, right? And his just seeing him kind of like triggered all the anxiety, all the stress, all the fear, the pain that he had in his former life back when he was still like slogging through that toxic work culture, you know. Um and I was saying like in the end of my review that that episode began with him saying goodbye to his college life, his apartment, which is basically like his pretty much like professional life. And I was saying that this is kind of his final send off of his former life, where he's like supposed to overcome. I'm assuming he's supposed to overcome like the fear, like all the pain that he let hold him back in his former life. He's supposed to just like defeat this boss guy, just to relieve himself of it, set himself free so he could just like 100% move forward, just look at the future with his friends, live his best life, do the bucket list, all that kind of stuff. And as far as like how I think that's going to happen, we saw a little glimpse. We saw like that the people in the camp, in the essentially a prison, aren't very happy with the way the boss runs things. And we do see also that they have zombies working for them as sort of like tractors to pull heavy objects and all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming eventually everything's going to culminate to the frustrations just bubbling and them setting the zombies free, which will kill the boss, and that'll be like Akira's, way of saying goodbye to that life so that he can move forward. But it's just a guess. you know, it might be like a whole different thing, but that's just what I'm assuming now. So let's just go ahead and jump right in to Akira. I'll be sorry, to Zom 100 bucket list of the dead. Let me get this set up, and it should be as simple as one, two, three. There it is. All right, and we'll shut down the volume so that only I can hear it. And let us begin in three, two. We're also skipping the intro. We're skipping the intro. I don't like the intro. Sorry for anyone who's a fan. So three, two, one, go. All right, we're back in the. All right, and that was episode 7. What was it called? Truck Stop of the Dead. Cool, very cool episode. Very good, very good. Um, let's see. So a lot of backstory on um oh Lord, I still do not remember. I know Akira Can't Shizuka, 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 Shizuka. Why can't I remember her dang name? A lot of backstory on Shizuka. We learned that she was pretty much heavily pressured to pretty much inherit her father's like company, like finances, all that kind of stuff, since she was a child, but her interests sort of veered elsewhere, and her father tried. So her father had this very popular mindset, this mindset that's sort of compounded into everyone these days. It's like the capitalist mindset where if you have like you always have to be working hard, that you have to take this path and have like a million and a half side hustles, and if you're not doing any of that, if you're not doing all of that, then you are a failure, that you are not fit for this place, all that kind of bullshit. And that the people who are down on their luck are there because they want to, because they don't want to work hard or any of that kind of stuff. So that's like this capitalist mindset that I do see social media. I don't have social media at all. I was gonna say a lot. I only have like a Twitch and this YouTube channel. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter. I don't have like TikTok or any of that other stuff. It's never really interested me, even as like a middle schooler. Like I never took interest in that. But I do hear like people comment about that kind of stuff where it's kind of like you have to have six figures. You can only date some guy who's like 6 feet or taller. You have to have like two houses or like all this kind of stuff. And it's just you just see people kind of flaunting that all over like social media, and it's sort of like triggers this comparative mindset where like you're looking around at your normal life, and even though you're kind of like you're kind of fulfilled with that life, that you're happy with that life, just comparing it to all the stuff that you see online and all the stuff that you hear that you have to be doing, it kind of just like pushes that fulfillment to the back, and it kind of just like triggers like this sort of like depressive mindset, this like thing. And it's kind of like it's like man, it's like the worst thing that's going on right now, honestly. um I've kind of struggled with it. First, first thing, not to get too personal, but I'm gonna get a little personal. His capitalist mindset, the thing the father was telling when he was walking by the homeless people, like, oh, those guys, they deserve to be there. So because they didn't want to work. Sometimes you, so the thing is, from what I've seen, like it's like the people you see who like they show up like with like the glamorous cars and their stylish clothes and all this trendy stuff, they come from a family usually that already has like that kind of income. And it's sort of like this perpetual thing where like they're going to inherit their family's finances, then they're going to pass on those finances, they're going to multiply those finances to their kids, and so like they're going to do it, and then so on and so forth. And it's always going to be like it's already there. They don't really have to do much. They're working off, it's like a win more sort of scenario. And I'm not like shaming that kind of thing. It's not their fault that they were born into like a fortunate sort of life, right? um what I am blaming is the mentality. what i am like what I do have an issue with is the mentality that like, oh, they completely earned everything that they did, and the people who are like struggling, they completely earned their struggle. They deserve to be there. That's what they asked for. For me, I've basically not really had like the easiest life. So basically, so right now it's me, my older sister, and two younger sisters. Um, when I was 5, abusive household, right? And my mom, she finally like gathered the courage to leave because a relative had told us like, hey, we're tired of seeing you down like that. If you leave, we'll give you a place to stay. So messy separation, but she was able to keep custody. We went to that relative only to find out that they didn't really mean what they said. and so we couldn't live there. We had to bounce around from house to house. We were kind of like homeless at some points, and it was just like really messy, like super hungry days, all that kind of stuff. And we would always see my mom work hard, right? And she would like have like multiple jobs. I would try to pick up like some side jobs too while I was going to school just to help out. And eventually, my mother, she had saved up enough money for a down payment on like the tiniest little place, the tiniest, shittiest little place that she was proud of. And you know, we moved in, my mother, me, my sisters, and uh, as soon as we moved in, she started not feeling well, and then she was diagnosed with cancer, and she died a year later, and we lost the house. And I had just started going to college. I tried to keep going to college and work multiple jobs to try to like, you know, help raise up my sisters, right? But I couldn't. I couldn't keep up with all that, and so I had to drop out, and I had to pick up like as many jobs as I could. And it's just like one of those things where like because I had to do that, and I don't resent my family at all for having to do that, but because I had to do that, like I gave up like it kind of emphasized like I would look at the people around me who didn't have any of those problems, right? And they would just kind of like lackadaisically like move forward, and that's where like that whole comparative mindset came in, right? And it kind of like for a while I did struggle with that. Was like, oh, like why don't I have like this or that? Is it because like I'm a failure? Is it because like I wasted my life away or something like that? And it's just like no, we are all dealt different paths. Um and it's hard to accept it when a lot of the times some people are some people are born at the top and they will always be at the top, and sure they'll have like some hard times, but it won't be anything like too terrible, right? Sometimes people are born at the top. Sometimes people spend their whole lives trying to dig themselves out of a hole that they didn't put themselves in. And right now, thankfully, I do have a place to live, right? I'm not living on the street. Um, but I know for sure there are people like um Shizuka's father who probably look at me and look at my sisters, look at where we are, and it's like, oh man, that's a family of failures right there. They asked to be put in that situation. They didn't grind and all that kind of shit. And it's like, no, man, like it may not seem like we have a lot. We probably don't have a lot, right? Um, but it's not because, at least I don't feel, it's because we put ourselves here. We're It's a little hard to explain, right? But basically, like the gist of it is that sometimes you're dealt a shitty hand and you have to work with what you have, and it's not always going to be glamorous, but you have to do your best to try to find fulfillment in that life, and it you have to do your best not to compare it to other people's lives. Everyone's put on their own path. Everyone's We're all going to end up in the same place, right? No matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you don't have, everyone's going to end up at the same place. The only difference is that some people are going to have like one or two extra numbers in their bank account. Some people are going to die completely unfulfilled, never satisfied because they always wanted more. And some people are going to die completely satisfied, happy with what they had, happy with what they did. And that's kind of how I have decided to live my life. And that's what I encourage other people to live. Um, because I mean, so you know, just even this example of Zom 100 with Shizuka, like she came from a family of huge income, but she was never happy, right? And I know a lot of people, like not like a lot of like my wealthier like colleagues, people I went to school with, who like they post like all this stuff. And they have like all this money, but they're like getting divorced. They're like you hear like rumors of like an abusive marriage, all this kind of stuff, and it's just like you can't compare yourselves. You have to stop comparing yourselves, your life to other people's lives. That's just like a bad path. That's like asking for depression. That's asking for anxiety. I mean, I could go on. I could go on with this. I don't want this to turn into the whole big thing. But basically, what I want to leave you with is we don't know how long we're going to be here. Let's say you're only going to be here for 10 more years. Would you want those 10 years to be spent like just working yourself to death, hoping that someday it pays off? Or would you want those 10 years to be spent like living as happily, as fulfilled as you possibly could? I'm not saying don't work. I'm just saying your job title is not who you are. You know, I know we live in a society where like people kind of like want to put those, put that like as a person's worth, like you're only as valuable as your job title. That's not how it is. That's really not how it is. Um, and I hope, you know, just I hope anyone who hears this, I doubt anyone's gonna see this. I'm such like a small time YouTube channel, but anyone who hears this, just live your best life. Don't listen, like block out all like that social media shit. Trust me, like it it gets dark. It gets really dark listening to all that. And the sooner you stop, just the happier you'll be, man. Or girl, the happier you'll be. But yeah, like I said, I had a lot to say about what the father was telling Shizuka. But overall, I did like this episode. I did like how Akira let go of his past. It wasn't as gruesome as I anticipated, but he did it in his own way, and that's all I can really ask for. So now the gang's off to their next destination. I forget if where is their destination? Are they looking for Akira's family? I think that's what it is, right? Or maybe they're just kind of. So I know they're trying to complete the bucket list, or at least Akira is. But as far as like where exactly they're headed, I don't really know. Excited to find out. Still loving the series. Still gonna keep reacting. Hopefully YouTube helps lets me upload this with the volume off. If not, I'll just keep trying to find a way. Um, but yeah, so tune back in for this. I'm also reacting to Masamune. I stream on Twitch every night. Check us out there. But for now, my name's Adam. Thank you for checking out Jupiter Machine. And as always, steal credit cards, hurt your loved ones, plant some flowers. It all adds up in the end. All right. See you next time, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.